Good day. So I've been thinking about how to modify my oxalic acid vaporizer, and I think I've come up with a plan that is possibly going to work well. So you see this vaporizer has this dish in here, and what my plan is I've got this is gutter material for a roof. But it's what the material I've been using, it's just aluminum sheet. And I've been using it to make the covers for my beehives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and I've already measured it out, I'm going to cut a 3-inch strip off of here. And then I'm going to fold it in half so it's stronger. And then I'm going to try and wrap it around inside that dish as tightly as I can to make a deeper dish for that. So I'll get that cut off, and then I'll come back and we'll show you what it looks like. So I've got the 3-inch strip cut off. Now I'm just going to cut it down to like a 6-inch length so it's easier to work with. And this stuff is really easy to cut. I've just got my square. I'm just going to score that and then score it again. And one more time. There. That's the piece I'm going to work with. So we'll keep that as, just in case I screw it up, I have more. So I've got the, I use this bar. I got it clamped down. It's 1.5 inches from this edge here. And so I'm just going to fold that over, and that will double up the material. I'll show you how I'm doing this. Just bend it over like that. Take that off of there. Now, I didn't squish this end down completely because when I wrap this around, I want to be able to insert this end into this end here so that makes a complete circle. Alright, so after some, I don't know, I call it metalworking, but it's not what you might call metalworking. I've got a dish shaped, and it fits in there. Oh, where's the camera? Fits in there pretty snug. And I did a couple of pop rivets on the back to hold the seam together. So you can see this end here fits inside of there, so it makes a seal. Oh. So now I'm going to proceed. And I believe what I'm going to do is pop a hole through here. And I have a piece of 1/4 inch copper tubing that I'm going to just stick out through that hole. So let's see how that goes. Alright, so I've jumped ahead. I drilled a hole in the front of the aluminum dish that I made. And I've inserted the 1/4 inch copper tubing. Now you can see I left it quite long because I don't know how long it needs to be. So I've just left it long, and I'll cut it off as required. Now to seal the top, I made this just out of a couple of pieces of plywood. Is that the right side, or did I have to put it one there? And that fits in there quite snugly. And so that should just seal the top of it when it's operating. And then I can pull it out and put more acid in it as needed. So the red stuff that you see on there is Permatex high temperature gasket maker. I'm using it to seal the bowl and hopefully keep the tube in place as well, because it doesn't have a whole lot of support. So we'll have to let this cure for 24 hours and see what happens to it. But this Permatex is usually pretty good stuff. So, all right, so I'll be back in probably 24 hours. We'll see how it looks and see if it works. All right, so a little more on my modifications to my oxalic acid vaporizer. Turns out that this wooden plug was burning. So I took a piece of saran wrap, I put it over top of that, and I made this little form out of poster board, and I squeezed that down over there, over the top of that wooden plug center, and I mixed up some JB Weld, and I poured it into the center. And the reason I put cellophane over top of the wood is so the JB Weld wouldn't stick to it. And so yeah, I filled the cavity, or filled this form. Well, not this form, but the form that I used. This is just for demonstration purposes. I filled the form with JB Weld. And then I took this cap, just a little plastic cap. I wrapped it in cellophane, tied it real tight, put a twist tie on it to hold it together, and then I pushed that down into the JB Weld and just let it cure that way. And I ended up with this. So this plug here, this is the plug I've been playing around with, is made out of JB Weld, and you can see the indent for the oxalic acid. And I've just got it bolted to the piece of plywood, a couple of little bolts in the middle there. And then I've taken some of the RTV sealant, and I've made a little rubber seal to go around so that it will seal against the rim of the cup. Now, as for the cup, oh, I've got that heating up. Forgot. As for the cup, it turns out that the RTV sealant wasn't working. It just doesn't have the strength to hold that all together. So I used JB Weld. I cleaned it all up, scored the aluminum with rough sandpaper, and used JB Weld to seal the cup. And I also enlarged the tube from 1/4 inch to 3/8, because in my testing I found that the 1/4 inch is plugged up too quickly. And you can see it smoking there because I've had it connected to the battery. I was going to do a demonstration here. There's a little bit of acid left in it from, I was just down at Norman's doing his bees with it, and it worked like a charm. So I was just going to show you how this works, and yeah, so give me a minute. I'll get set up here, and then we'll show you how I do this. Okay, so a little bit more on what I've done. You see this device here with the red buttons on it? Well, it's just nothing more than a simple meat thermometer. A little digital meat thermometer I got off Amazon. And I've got it resting, the tip resting against the block. Oh, where is it? Right there. And I don't know if the camera's going to pick up that readout or not. But you can see that the temperature is going up nicely on the device. And that's how I know when to pop the cap onto this. I just rinsed the bowl out with a bit of water, so I'm just going to let it steam out while it's heating up. Now, how I learned how to do this, and this is not the way you would normally do a wand style treatment, is you take your 1/4 teaspoon of oxalic acid, you put it in the cap, and when this gets to the the little thermometer gets to 410 degrees, I will pop the cap on there and flip it upside down. And this is in a similar fashion as if you were using a Pro Vape. I did try experimenting with just putting the acid into the dish and letting it just heat up as it normally would, and that simply didn't work. All it did was plug the tube. Alright, I'll be back as soon as this is hot. Alright, so we are at 403 and it's going to go up a bit more. So I'm going to get ready. I'm going to snap that cap on there. So you can see I've got the cap on there with the acid in it. Now I'm simply going to turn it over, give it a little tap. And there you go. So all I have to do with this is put the tube in the front of the hive, right through our sliding entrances, and just vaporize them that way. And it takes about a minute for it to finish fuming out the end of the tube. So once it's done fuming, the treatment is done. Alright, so I'll be back in a minute. So that is my modified vaporizer. I still have to make some tweaks to it to, figure out how to better attach the thermostat or the temperature on the little temperature gauge. I've done 8 hives with it, and the JB Weld seems to have held up quite well. I don't know if that's going to last for very long, but we'll see how that goes. But other than that, that seems to work really well. And what I might do to help increase or decrease the heat up time is take some muffler wrap and put it around this aluminum block. Because when this thing's heating up, it's giving off heat in all directions, and instead of concentrating the heat into the unit. So I think muffler wrap might cure that problem. So it'll heat up a lot faster. So let me know what you think. I'll attach a video of it in use, yeah, so I think that's all I got for this project. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Good day, it's Gary from G&H Honey Bees, and I'm down at Norman's Apiary, and I'm trying out my newly modified vapor blaster. I've already done 1 hive. You see they're looking to get back in there, but they're going to be closed up for 10 minutes. So I'm just waiting for the cap to cool down, and I'll put some more oxalic acid in there, and then we'll plug this in and I'll show you how the thing works. So I've got my oxalic acid in the cavity in the cap that I made, and I'm just waiting for, now what I've got here is just a little meat thermometer, digital meat thermometer got off of Amazon, and it's actually reading the temperature out there as it's rising. I've got it connected to the battery already. Oh, turn itself off. Once that gets over a little 400 degrees, I'll pop the cap back on it, and then we'll stick it in the front of the hive and flip it over, give it a tap, and it'll blast the acid right into the hive. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so at that temperature, I've got the little cap on there with the acid in it. I'm going to put it in through the front of the hive here. Close up the gate. Turn that over. And give it a... Alright, just give it a tap. It's squirting... It's squirting vapors in there. You can see them coming out the tube. And I just hold it there for a minute, and then I can take it out. Alright, so that treatment is done. There's a little bit of smoke still coming out of the cook pot, but 90% of it or more went into the hive, just shot right out the tube. I've got bees lined up here, so now I'm going to start my 10-minute timer, and then we'll open these girls up and let them go about the business. Alright, I'll be back. So I'm moving right along here. We only got 2 more to do. We've done 6 already, and 10-minute cool down on a hive. It's been an hour, but that's okay. I got nothing better to do. So, just waiting for another timer to finish over here, and then I'll do these last 2 hives. And that'll be it for the day. There's a few bees out today. It's not terribly warm. It's only, I don't know, 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. It's in the 40s, I guess. Mid-40s for Fahrenheit. So, but there are a few out foraging. Not like you were the other day when it was 12 degrees Celsius. So, I'll be back after I get this done. Alright? So, we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.